Hi everybody, I'm Maribeth Quinn, a mixed media collage artist. For years, I would get stuck with my art practice and feel like something was really going wrong. Well now, after decades of painting, I realized that feeling stuck is actually just a byproduct of the creative process. You're going to feel stuck when you're more focused on the outcome than you are on the process. You're going to feel stuck when you feel like a lot is at stake and maybe you're not going to measure up. You're also going to feel stuck when you're sort of done with one way of doing things and it's time to grow and develop something new. Feeling stuck is not something going wrong, it's just a little signal that tells you where you are and what you need to do next. Well, I'm going to share with you today my #1 favorite way of getting unstuck. It will reconnect you with your art practice and with your creativity, and it's actually very simple and it's really fun. So really, this is just an exercise in limitations and speed. And I start with a piece of paper that's about 18 by 24. Of course, you can use whatever size you like. I tape it off into multiples, and I paint quickly and with no agenda across the entire page. This just allows me to not really get stuck on what it is that I'm painting, how good it is. I actually try to make sort of jerky marks, ones that are not necessarily pretty. I'm going for just a feeling of being loose and unattached. That's really, I want this to be more like a playground, something that is more like a child plays, because when you're feeling stuck, it's likely because you're taking something too seriously or there's some fear involved about the outcome. So really what's needed is just to get back into that feeling of this is fun, this is new, I don't really care what happens here, I'm just painting. And that will enter you back into an environment that is really more conducive to a creative flow. It allows me really to practice painting freely and see that nothing bad is going to happen. Here I have only used these 3 colors, greenish blue, Indian yellow, and quinacridone purple, I believe it was, along with some black and white. It's amazing the amount of colors you can make with just 2 colors or 3 colors, along with some black and white. It creates endless amounts of colors. So you're improving your ability to color mix because you're doing it quickly. Then you really don't give your brain time to try to hang you up with choices or judgments. You're just going for the pleasure and the act of painting. So as you can see, this is entirely messy. There's obviously no plan here. I don't even know if this is just abstract or if it's going to be a landscape or botanicals. I'm inviting my creative self to surprise me here. I'm just going to paint. I'm going to put paint to the paper and see what happens. This exercise allows me to experience that my fears really have no basis to them. This is actually a really important thing to practice. Very soon, I'm going to start doing some YouTube live sessions where I just paint. I'm just practicing. And if you'd like to come along and practice with me, I would love to have you. If you'd like to sign up to be notified as soon as I'm ready to do that, you can also find that link down below in the description. So you've probably experienced too that when you feel stuck or paralyzed, like you just can't move forward, that once you can get going, then that feeling goes away. So it's really just finding the doorway in, finding the way to step back into just painting and not worrying so much about what the outcome is, because that's where problem solving comes in. If we can learn how to problem solve, then we can paint freely right from the start, because we don't feel like every brushstroke, every mark has to be just perfect, or that we have to know where we're going at all times. We actually don't. So doing multiples like this allows me to paint freely, show myself that my fears basically are baseless, like nothing bad is going to happen, And then when I pull the tape off and I pull them apart, I can continue to work on these separately and practice my problem-solving skills, because these first layers right here are just the first layers. That's all they are. And so teaching myself that it's okay, however they look, they're perfect really, because they give me something to work with. And now the work begins where I come to each one separately and just say, how could I make this better? I'm not trying to make this into a masterpiece. I'm not trying to make it the most beautiful painting in the world. I'm not even trying to make it a painting. I'm just trying to become a better painter. And so I ask myself, how could I make this piece better? What could I do with my color that would help move it in a direction that works better? What other marks could I make? What could I add? And because these were never meant to be beautiful paintings, then there's just nothing much to lose. I can experiment on them, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't go well. I've learned something, good or bad. The way this helps me shift my mindset, get back into my art practice, and practice my problem-solving skills is really invaluable. It is just a wonderful exercise. I hope you enjoy this idea, and if you really want some teaching that focuses in on what's going on in here and how it's affecting what you're producing out here, you can find the classes that I offer at the link that I've provided down in the description. I'd love to have you join me. And as always, thanks for spending your precious time with me.